Hi. On today's 30-minute mechanic, we're not going to be working on the Ranger. We're going to be working on the other white behemoth in the shop, the Galaxie. I'll catch you up on what we're doing to it. I think we're going to weld together a transmission mount for it today, so buckle up. Let's go. Okay, I haven't made a video in a few days, but it's not because I have not been working. I've done a little bit of work to that, but mostly I've been doing stuff to the Galaxie. Now I got the C6 pulled out, you know that, and used it for mock-up in the Ranger over here. But I went ahead and put the E4OD in the car, and it's a pretty tight fit, but it fits. I'll just kind of catch you up here. Let's see if we can get down there and get the light turned on. Oh, it's not plugged in. Hello, light, come here. Well, okay, good super bright Harbor Freight light. Okay, spin you around here. We got into here, and maybe I can turn this light on. Maybe it'll help. Oh, let's back out. There we go. Okay, there we go. We extended our transmission brackets off the factory. Factory has these little arms that stick out and they just kind of float out here in space. What we did was took some 1 1/4 inch square tube, heavy wall stuff, and bolted it into the place there. And then we ran it over here. We had to put a little notch in the body that hangs down, and then we welded it to the actual frame of the car. This is connected to the frame, and this is welded to the frame, so not a big deal. If we ever want to put a C6 back in, we just pull out this front bolt, and then that's where the C6 mount goes. Okay, now big girl here, big girl E4OD fits in there. It fits pretty tight at the top. Probably can't see that very well. It gets really close to the bolts Judd put through the floor pan for a shifter. But we're in a good position. I had tried using the factory mount on it, and I hated how it fit. The transmission really needed to go up about another inch for it to work good, and it was just yuck. I didn't like it. I messed around with it quite a bit trying to make it work, and I decided, you know, I have steel, I have the ability. Let's just build a new transmission mount. So that's what we're kind of doing today. I've got a tubular one kind of fixed up that comes across, boop, comes and shoots over the other side. It'll have a little L on, but I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, now the other thing is we were totally on the struggle bus. You can see the header here. It's just hanging in here. Got the header on the passenger side out, no problem. That was easy peasy. It just comes out. The driver's side now, holy cow. I struggled and struggled and struggled to try to get the header out, and I couldn't do it. I loosened motor mounts, took motor mounts off, jacked the motor up, and messed around and just flat could not get it out of here. So it's going to stay in here, and we're just going to modify it in the car. Okay, now why are you going to modify the header? Well, this transmission, like the C6, when these headers are in here, man, they are really tight to the pan on the other side as well. These are made for a Torino, so I guess they had less room to deal with, and so they've made them tight. And the problem that causes is it gets real close to your transmission linkage. In this case, it's going to be too close to our manual lever position switch, our MLPS. So we're going to cut these collectors off. We're going to put a little do-si-do on the end here to move this over. And we're going to put a V-band on it. So we won't have to jack with these dumb 3-bolt clamps ever again. But I'll show you that process too. The other header's out, and we'll just chop it off, and I've got some mandrel bends and the V bands already in, so we can do that pretty easy. I'll just have to cut this one off under the car and do all my welding underneath here, which is not a big deal. It's not ideal, but it can be done. I mean, I weld under cars all the time. Okay, now as you can see here, these are the parts that I've made for this transmission mount. A silver Sharpie right there. We got a piece that I bent. Okay, let me back up. That's a piece of 1.5 inch. We're gonna take measure. I think that's 1.5 inch. Or maybe 1.25. I don't even know. That's like 1.25. Almost 1 3/8. Anyways. 1 3/8. I'll say 1 3/8. 1 3/8 tubing. I've used it for other stuff in the past. The engine mount in my red car is made out of this. The transmission mount in the green car is made out of this. There's a piece I bent right here that was going to be a transmission mount that I ended up not using. But I didn't bend it on my fancy new bender because I don't have the right size shoe for it. And I've bent this with great success using the old. Let me just get this loose and I'll show you. Using the old pipe bender. Now, you can bend tubing like this steel tubing stuff with a pipe bender, but you got to make a few little modifications. And then it works really well, kind of. It actually does work really well. The first modification is to add some feet. Add some, basically I just cut pipe in half and welded it to those deals. That spreads the load over a wider area and doesn't, if you just use this, then your point of contact is one little spot. You put those on there to spread your load out. So you do that to both sides. And then the last mod you do is maybe that'll focus on it. You add a pinch bolt to it, so it keeps the tubing clamped down tight in the center of the shoe. So you put the tubing in there and you tighten that guy down. And sometimes when you start bending, you got to keep tightening this just a little bit because it smooshes into the shoe. But it works really well. Once you get that tight and start jacking it, you can bend. I mean, you see that bend. I've bent parts for my trailer over there, and we made some bends here that turned out really nice. So the other parts we've got a piece here that we've ground a curve into that's going to weld to the bottom of this, and then these are tabs that are going to mount, that the thing's going to mount to out here on the sides, and then that'll mount on our 1.25 inch square tube in there. So we're gonna tack this piece onto here, and then we're gonna measure up everything and try to get this all at least tacked together and roughly assembled in the car. I think I just did a whole bunch of talking and my microphone was dead. So right now we're going to tack. Oops. Guess I got to get my ground clamp attached. We're going to tack this little piece on here where it goes. Those holes are a little crooked looking. A little bit. It'll be all right, I think. Where's my torch? Flip this off. Oh, my hair. Okay, let's get us a little tack put on here. We can work with this. Okay. Come on, get out of there. Oh yeah. Okay. I think maybe that's okay. Let's go check the fit real quick. Let me go check the fit and make sure this is going to work before I do anything else, and then I'll come back. Okay, we got it tacked. We got that piece tacked in there. Now, it's just sticking off here like that. We're going to come back, and I think I'm going to make some little side pieces here to kind of triangulate this. Give that a little more support. Not a big deal, but we'll do that. We'll do that later. Right now, we've got to come up with our width. And it should be 17, should be 34 inches. Let me double check this. 34 inches center to center. Isn't it? I better measure the car. Let's double check under here. Well, you can't see this, but here we are under the car. My favorite place. Be nice if I could get my tape measure. These dudes. It's actually 34 and a half. So 34 and a half center to center. Ooh. 34 and a half center to center. Now, like most transmissions in cars, the drive line, it's offset to the passenger side. So the driver's side section is longer than the passenger side. So that's the way we're going to set this up. If it's 34 and I have to be 17 and a quarter on each side. So that means one side should be 16, right? 16 and a quarter, and the other side should be 18 and a quarter. Let's try that. That's to the center. And then this one will be 18 and a quarter. My darn tape measure turned here where I can actually see what I'm doing. It's down here in the part of it that I didn't clean. Okay. Let me, before I cut anything, of course, that's going to be shorter. I'm going to have to come back. I'm going to have to come back even farther because these end plates go on here. And that is going to be the center line of my hole. So what I need to do probably is go ahead and drill my holes in these. So I'll have something to key off of. Let's do that. Back to the drill press. I'll be right back. All right, time in. Got us some holes made in them. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to crawl in the car. I'm going to get the bolts. I'm going to bolt it in there. I'm going to measure inside to inside. Then I'll have a working number to measure this thing from the center over and the center over. And then we'll be able to chop it. So let me jump under there and I'll take care of that real fast. All right, I crawled under there. I bolted these two pieces on to my brackets under there, and well, I drilled holes in them, and then I bolted them on, and I measured between the flat and and it's 32 and a half. So 32, let me write that down. 32.5. So half of that is 16 1/4. So from the center, I need to be 15 1/4 over here. And 17 1/4. Wow, that was wrong. This side's longer. 17 1/4 on this side. Man, I about screwed up. Just about screwed up. Sometimes I get which side is longer backwards in my head. So 16 1/4 over here. I'm going to have to get my flapper wheel and clean this part of the bar up before I do any welding. Okay, that'll make my mount. Wait a minute. What? Am I not doing math today? This side is 15, not 16, dummy. Is that about an inch? Okay, so that's 32 1/2. Now that should be 32 1/2. Okay. Yay. Okay, I got it where I want it. Now we're going to fire up the bandsaw here. And I'm going to put my ears on because it's loud. And we'll cut this thing off. I got stuff everywhere. All right, here we are. That's how it's going to fit. Of course, it's just tacked together, so I can't put any weight on it yet, but we'll weld it up and stick the transmission mount in there, squirt some paint on it, and it'll be done. I think our bolt shoots right through there. I think it's tightened down. Looks pretty darn good. All right, that's going to do it for 30-Minute Mechanic today. We got our transmission mount all tacked together and put in the Galaxie. Had a little bit of trouble with the microphones all day. It's been a while since I made a video, so that happens sometimes. So, anyways, the transmission mount fits just like I wanted it to. We'll pull it back out, finish weld it, and squirt some paint on it, and then we'll stick it back in there. So, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, ring the bell, tell your friends. We'll see you next time. Bye.